Hello and welcome to the Your Academy podcast. My name is Ryan and today I'm joined to my left with Tony for another guest episode.
Hey, mate.
Hey, mate. You enjoying yourself?
I am, yeah. We're getting so many guests in the off-season of footy. It's been good, and today it's a ripper, isn't it?
It is. Without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest on for today. So this person was a member of Fremantle's NGA Academy and was selected by pick 54 by the Fremantle Dockers in the AFL National Draft in 2020. Then debuted in 2021 against Gold Coast with his fellow teammate Brendan Walker, and then had an AFL career which lasted 4 games, spanning across 2 years. Joel Weston, welcome to the podcast, mate. How are you doing today?
No, I'm really well, lads. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited.
Yeah, so are we. Now, me and Ryan, we start every interview the same on here. We like to get a little bit of a backstory of where footy actually started for you. So was it from a young age or was it a little bit later on? And, were there any other sort of sports that you played when you were younger?
Yeah, so actually grew up in Dunsborough. So a little bit of a different story for me. So yeah, grew up down south in Dunsborough. Moved up here around, I reckon, 2010. So I reckon I was probably only year 3 or something like that. But that's probably where it really started, is playing footy down there. Really enjoying it with my dad. Would always take me down to the park. I would watch my older brother, who was older than me at the time. Yeah, watching him play at junior footy and stuff like that really got me engaged. And then basically continued. As soon as I moved up here, I was just fell in love with it. I'd just carry footy everywhere. I'd sleep with it. I'd play it, just kick around the house all the time and stuff like that. So really young age, it really started growing on me, to be honest.
And what was your junior club? Did you play like junior in Dunsborough and then obviously played here as well? So I'm guessing there was 2 junior clubs you played.
Yeah. So yeah, a bit of a weird story. So yeah, grew up playing in Dunsborough. I moved up here. I moved into a school called Newman College, and then their school, their junior club was Marist. And then back end of my junior career, I moved to a team which was like a merged team, but it was like Subiaco Junior Football Club, but it was merged and called Western Tigers because there was a few clubs that kind of joined together. But then, yeah, after that, I kind of only played junior football till about year 9, year 10, because I was basically straight through to Claremont after that, and in the development squads and state squads after that. So, yeah.
So what did that process sort of look like actually going into the Waffle system? Was that like a scouting process? You were scouted and sort of approached, or was it maybe a little bit different for you?
Yeah, it was pretty much exactly like that. Where there's a talent manager at each Waffle club, and they would go out and scout talent for every junior football club, and then they would bring you in for the development squads, and then basically from those development squads onwards is where you'd kind of keep feeding through to your Colts and then to your league and all your seniors. So yeah, and then if you're lucky enough, you get drafted straight out of Colts, or you spend a couple of years in the seniors and then go from there.
Yeah, nice. And how about the NGA program for Fremantle? Obviously, I find that super interesting, and I think it's a great thing that we have both for West Coast and Freo. What did that process look like of you actually getting into that program?
Yeah, so I was actually lucky enough to play in a multicultural team, which they don't do anymore. But they used to do a multicultural team for WA, and then also a Indigenous team for WA. And then we would go over to Sydney or Melbourne or whatever and play games against Melbourne and Sydney and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where it actually all really started, was there, and that's where they kind of pick from. But now they don't do it anymore, so I'm not sure how the whole process works now. But I was basically involved from there since I was about 15, I reckon. So hearing that news when you're 15, like, oh, you're a part of the Freo squad, it's amazing. You think it's like the coolest thing ever. And then get a lot of exposure as well from 15 to 18 about, how the whole club works and how to train and get myself to the best, give myself the best chance to get drafted. So
yeah.
No, that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, like, being around like the coaching staff and people that are at top level must have been really influential on you, I'm sure. How about some of the other players? Like, I understand, Josh Draper, Jesse Motlop, Liam Henry, Brandon Walker. Any sort of like, interactions you had with those boys, playing with those boys, and what was that like, building those relationships?
Yeah, so that was a good thing, is me and Brandon both came through at the exact same year, and we also played in that multicultural carnival together.
Yep.
So that was huge, really. Being able to experience it with someone I was really close with. So I'm still really close with him now. Made it really, really easy for us. And then, yeah, also the other guys you touched on, like Liam and Josh, like there are other guys that, Liam being a bit older was someone I really looked up to because he did it the year before me. So that made it really, really good and someone that I could really look up to and learn from. So yeah, that was really.
And also a really cool memory for you, I'm sure, was the Claremont Colts Premiership in 2019. Some people we've had on here haven't experienced a premiership at all. So I imagine that must have been a surreal feeling. What do you sort of remember from that, and what was your reaction after winning and realising you're a premiership player at the Colts level?
Yeah, it's really funny because we were chatting about this probably at the end of this season of the Waffle. I was lucky enough to actually play in a lot of grand finals in junior football as well growing up, which so you'd always hear that people saying, oh yeah, do you enjoy this because it doesn't come around often. It's not something that always happens, but when you're young, you're just like, oh, this is happening often. Like I'm going to be able to play in grand finals every year.
Mm.
And then, being able to play in the Colts was amazing because the amount of talent there was in that year, in the year 2019, that draft with all Luke Jackson, Jeremy Sharp, Trent Rivers, everyone, being able to win the grand final in that year was really cool because, I guess it was just like a huge achievement for us. And we also had a really good team and we were actually the underdogs in the grand final. So that made it even more special.
Yeah.
And that's where you fast forward to now and I haven't been able to win the grand final since. And that's, 6 years ago now. So that's why we become really desperate and try.
Yeah, for sure. And it also makes you pretty grateful looking back at that. I think because it's super hard to win a grand final at really any level. So obviously I'm sure you guys are going to be looking to obviously get that feeling again, and I'm sure you will get there. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about some players you looked up to growing up, whether that's at the AFL level. Your dad played for Subiaco, I believe. Now, he must have been quite a big influence on you, of course, but were there any other players that you kind of looked up to for AFL teams that you were like, oh, I want to be like that guy?
Yeah, so obviously dad was a huge idol of mine growing up, but then also from my dad as well, he was a big Cats fan, so I used to go for Geelong growing up. So Gary Ablett Jr. was there and Jimmy Bartell and all those guys when I was growing up and watching footy, so they were probably my main ones, and then obviously I already loved watching Cyril and things like that. And then when I started getting close to my draft, I really started to look at Shea Bolton as a real close kind of person I can try to emulate my game around. So yeah, they're probably the main ones.
Sure. When you did get obviously picked up from Freo's NGA, did that support obviously with the Cats? Did you actually shift to Freo? Did you always have, your heart set in Cats?
That's funny because we would actually always talk about this, like AFL clubs always probably talk about that, but you get drafted by a team, but you still always have that soft spot for the team that you actually grew up loving, because obviously that's all your memories are there as a kid, and why you grew and loved playing the game was because you supported that team. So yeah, I guess I shifted over to Freo and always really wanted us to win. But yeah, there was always that soft spot, and even now, transitioning out of the AFL program, I'd probably find myself shifting a little bit back to Geelong. But yeah, I think it's just natural.
Obviously you had your Waffle Colts, but I'm going to shift to now your year 12, WA. Obviously you went to Hale.
I went to Churchlands.
Completely wrong. It was completely wrong. It was completely wrong. So well, that's completely cooked all those questions there. We'll just skip obviously this PSA question. I don't know why I said Hale, but so your best memory from your junior footy, what did actually what do you visually remember as your best junior footy experience?
Any flags from junior?
Yeah, there was a few flags in there. I think there was probably 3 or so at least. To be honest, man, it's hard to tell. I just really, looking back at it, you just enjoy playing footy with your closest mates at the time, really. I know that's it's probably not the best answer ever, but I guess apart from that, I think there was a game I kicked 8 or something like that, so that's probably the right answer.
Yeah, jeez. So in terms of positions, sorry, Brian, have you actually always kind of chopped and changed positions, and do you have one that you prefer playing? And were there any that coaches really wanted you to play that you didn't really like, or what did that sort of look like?
Yeah, so when you're going up through juniors, you always are kind of switching roles and stuff like that. But I probably found most success playing in the midfield. That changed getting drafted. I probably shifted to more of a forward role, half forward role. And then dropping back to Claremont in Waffle, it's kind of been wing, midfield, forward. And then most recently this season, the last 6 weeks, I played a bit of halfback for the first time ever, which I really enjoyed. Found a bit of success back there, and I think that's probably where I'm going to try to make a spot for myself this year. So, yeah, really been focusing on that this off season, I reckon.
Nice. So yeah, we'll go on from the state now. What years did you actually play for WA?
For the years is a tough one, but I did state schoolboys under 12s, and then I didn't try out for state 15s, and then state 16s I did, and then I did under 18s as an underager, and then under 18s in my main year. So yeah.
Nice. Was there like a massive step up, do you reckon, from Colts to WA? Because we spoke to Aiden O'Driscoll, and he said there was a little bit of a step up. It's just a lot more quicker. Do you reckon that's the same case as well?
Yeah, I think it is definitely the step up. You notice it, like, you know, I guess when you're playing Colts, there's probably that bottom end of the talent is definitely not as strong as when you're playing states. Everyone's equally as good as each other, and the other thing is everyone's trying to prove a point and trying to get, you know, drafted. So everyone's playing their heart out, so that makes it even more tough.
How many games did you actually play for state, roughly?
I reckon I would have played about, in total, maybe 8 or 9. Yeah.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. So that's going through all the way from under 12s, 16, 18. So yeah.
Yeah, so you were in there from like very young.
Yeah.
How was that like overall experience? Obviously, because that was, you know, I feel like some people kind of like obviously playing for your state a little lower than, you know, Colts and stuff. Like, I know if I was playing for WA, I would be so proud. Like, what was your experience overall with state and playing for your state?
Yeah, no, that was always the goal, because obviously you couldn't get drafted when you were 16 and when you were 17. So the highest thing you could actually play at that time was playing state. So that's what everyone was striving for. And when, you know, getting the message from the coach or whatever that you're selected in the squad or selected in the playing team even, that's huge news. And yeah, I remember it was almost like a celebration, because you'd just be so happy your hard work's paying off. And then being able to play against the best of your age, which is awesome.
Was this at the time when you actually realized that you could take your footy to like the next level? Was it just like in your later years in state? Was it like more of your early years, like under like 14s? Or did you like that? Sorry.
Yeah, I know you mean. Yeah. So it was actually when I was probably about under 13s, under 14s, I probably was actually having some down years. Like I wasn't really playing as well as as a junior I was. Like when I was a bit younger, I was really dominant. Went through a period there where I actually really struggled. And then when I got involved in that multicultural program, and that's when I started to really fire and really start to play some really good football.
Did you have like another best memory from playing for WA at all?
Playing, yeah. So in my draft year in our state game, it was a bit of a modified one because it was COVID. But I got best on ground in one of those games, which was pretty cool. Out of all the talent there was in WA that year, it was a pretty cool experience to be able to get that. And then I guess off the field, it was just awesome to get to know some of the other guys who had really similar goals and aspirations to you, and even being an underager, dealing with all those guys I spoke about before. That was pretty cool to go on camps and stuff like that with it.
Totally. Anyway, we're going to shift to now the top 5 blind rankings. Obviously on the podcast, mate, we do a lot of top 5 rankings, a lot. We just do every single guest interview where we will have, you know, a blind ranking. So we're going to start off. The topic is 2021, 2022 Fremantle jerseys. So obviously your 2 years you were at the club. Mm-hmm. You rank them from 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being obviously the worst. So we start off with the 2021 Indigenous home jersey.
Yeah, I've still got this one at home.
Very nice, that jersey. I like
that one is definitely.
Did you actually get to keep like jerseys?
Yeah, so you usually get to keep one of each that you got to each year. So you probably get one of the retro round jerseys. You get an Indigenous jersey and then just a standard one. But going back to this, I would have to put that at 2.
We'll shift now to the first version of the Stealth jersey.
Yeah, so I never got to play in this or actually put this one on, but I would probably go with, it's pretty clean. I'll go with the 4.
Nice. That, just for context, I tell Ryan all the time, I'm an Eagles supporter, but that is like a top 3 all-time jersey for me.
Oh, really?
I think it's great.
I reckon, for my opinion, I reckon the lines are very small on it, and the lighting does it very justify in that, for me anyway.
You can really see it on the field. But
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We go to the Retro Round 2021.
Yeah, I reckon I'll put that at number 1 only because I got to play in that one and it was a good game. We beat Richmond.
Nice.
So it was probably one of my better games as well. So yeah, I'll definitely put that at 1.
2021 Indigenous away jersey.
Yeah, jeez. This is where it gets tough because what have I done? I've done 1, 2, and 4. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to put this at 3.
Okay. So that means one more left.
Hopefully this.
And then Freddie Anchor 2022.
Yeah, these are all good jerseys to be honest. But yeah, that's going to have to go at 5 for now.
No, fair enough. I mean,
I reckon he's done very well.
that's a good list.
I reckon it's a very
That
good
was pretty
list.
good, actually.
I actually own 2 of those jerseys. I've got the 2021 Indigenous Home. I think it's an unreal jersey
Yeah,
as
that's a
well.
good one.
And I've actually got that retro one, which I think is pretty cool. That's just like a soft spot for me.
Yeah, it's clean.
Anyway, we're going to move on. Obviously, the draft, to getting drafted to Fremantle that night. So what was your mindset going into the AFL draft? Like, did you know that you were going to be drafted at all? Or were you like kind of up in the air?
It was just so strange. Like the whole process was just really strange. Like I remember the lead up was, really, really strange because being that NGA product, you were always tied to the Dockers, and it was just something that it was like the inevitable. You kind of knew I was talented enough to be picked up. It was just a matter of when or where. So yeah, there was always chats leading up with my manager, and we were really thinking it was probably going to be like a top 30 Chubb pick. Then actually rolled around to the night, kept slipping past that, kept slipping past. Freo got to a point where they had a pick really late and they actually passed. So chose not to take anyone, including myself. So that was pretty eye-opening. I was like, wow, that's I mean, you can see, like from a business point of view, you can see why they do it because they probably wanted to get me on a rookie contract the next day, which is be way better suited for them. But then it's also like a shot in the foot for me because I obviously, been tied to them since I was 15. I really wanted to get picked up and get it over and done with. But yeah, that got pretty concerning. And then really late in the draft, probably the last 5 picks, the Bulldogs actually placed a bid to get me. It was crazy scenes at home. We were all freaking out because we were like, oh my gosh, like what's happened? We actually thought I wasn't going to go because Freo passed. So yeah, after seeing that, just watching the screen because we have to see if Freo are going to match the bid or if they're going to, let me walk to the Dogs. And then after seeing they matched it, it was just, it was scenes we were all super happy and super stoked. So yeah, that was a pretty cool process.
That just gives me goosebumps. Like,
Yeah, man. Be a great feeling.
So obviously you're getting drafted, all of that. So when did you actually start at Freo? Like what was it day one the next day? Was it like a couple of days of, celebrating? What actually happened in the following days leading up to it?
Yeah, so that night I was able to go out and have a couple of drinks with some mates and stuff like that and really enjoy that success and with family as well. And then, the next day you just get your phones getting flooded straight away with messages from all the players, all the coaching staff as well from Freo. So that was pretty cool. And then, it's basically straight on from there. I remember the next day, obviously COVID was still around. So we went straight for a COVID test and made sure I was all cleared before I could actually go to the club. And then, I reckon we're pretty much straight into it because we didn't have to travel interstate. Like it's different for if I got drafted to the Bulldogs. So I'd have to spend a couple of days here, then go over. But I was pretty much straight into it. So I think Freo had actually started their pre-season by the time I was actually drafted. So we was just straight down there, visiting the room, seeing, just trying to make my bearings and get everything right there. And then, yeah, but basically after that, we'd just filter straight in.
Was it like a little bit overwhelming? I imagine, like, you're so young, your phone's getting absolutely flooded, like you mentioned. You know, you're going to meet guys that you see on TV all the time. Did you find that like a little bit hard to deal with at first?
Oh, to be honest, it's rather than an overwhelming feeling, it's just like a crazy, like surreal feeling. Like it's just like, wow, this is really happening. Like it wouldn't really freak you out or anything. You'd just be like, this is it. Like, you just can't wait, to be honest, just get stuck in.
It's just excitement, yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you most excited to actually meet going into that first day?
Most excited to meet. Oh, it's different for me because I actually
Yeah.
met a lot of them already. But it was probably just cool to see a lot of the guys that I already knew, but then also it was just cool to see Fifey and a lot of those boys, just the guys that were just the superstars of the club, Dave Mundy and stuff like that. So yeah.
Beautiful. So what was the overall like biggest change from state levels, from Colts, what was to an AFL club? What was the biggest difference?
I guess it's just the facilities and the time you spend at the club, I guess. Like state, there's a lot of conversations back and forth and a lot of, you're probably only training 3 days a week, but AFL, you're obviously there every day of the week nearly and learning every day and just the advanced terminology and everything that they use as well. So you just learn so much more a lot quicker as well. So yeah, I'd probably just say that's the main thing.
Obviously, we're going to move on to your debut game in 2021. So what round was it? Just quickly.
Maybe round 12 potentially.
Did you going from the round 12, like round 10, 11, did you have already like insight so you could maybe get a chance to play?
Yeah, I reckon I was emergency probably about 6 or 7 times in a row.
Jeez, man.
And it was tough. Like you were just so close. And I remember banging down the door of like jail, just asking like, what do I do to get a game? And there was just so many small forwards as well that were in front of me. And then it took maybe an injury to Sam Switkowski, I think it might have been. And then that's when it was just like, I played a good game in the waffle, injury to a small forward, like this is my chance. Trained really well as well. I remember I like actually just trained house down as well. And then rolls around to that Friday or Thursday, whenever it was, when they're announcing the team. Cameras are set up in the back of the room and you just like kind of get this feeling, you're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Goes to announce everything and he announces Brandon Walker first. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get a game. Like, I can't believe it. Like, Brandon's going to play before me, and there's obviously that competitive edge between myself and Brandon, like, because we grew up and did everything together. Like, he's going to play and I'm not going to get to play. I'm like, wow, can't believe this. And then all of a sudden, like, Brandon goes, sits down, and then he announces another one and he calls my name out. And then, yeah, that was crazy. And especially to be able to do it with someone that I went through the whole program with was, that was really cool.
Very special moment. Who'd you tell first, like outside of the club? Do you reckon?
I'm trying to think.
Did they make you do the phone call? I know they do on social media now. They film you and you call mum or dad.
I did do that. Yeah, I don't think I actually ended up posting it, but yeah, I remember the excitement on mum and dad's. Yeah, they were super excited. I can remember they were really happy for that. But I think I might have even just like sent a message straight to the boys group chat, to be honest. That actually might have been the first people I told, because I think I had to hold off trying to tell mum and dad so they could film it. I think as soon as I got to my phone, I just told some of the people that I was close with.
Obviously, you played your game against Gold Coast. That post-game interview, did that kind of just, like, if that's when it hit you, like you just played your first ever AFL game, like no one can ever take that away from you. Did that actually like suddenly hit you?
Yeah.
Of Optus, I think it was.
Yeah, Optus, yeah. Yeah, so that was just the cool thing, is actually being able to play a game. There's so many like people that actually go through the AFL system that don't get to play a game. But then, yeah, I remember just, especially winning as well. I reckon that's a huge difference, is when you debut, and if you win or lose, like winning just makes the experience so much better. So, and then also not debuting as a sub as well, which is huge. Yeah, which I can't believe people were doing that anyways. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I remember, I think it was just after the game where I was really settling in, when, the crowd's just going nuts when you're walking past, and being able to go give the fans high fives and sign autographs, take photos. That's just when it really settled in, and it was just really cool experience.
Do you have like a lot of people come, like you invited to the game, obviously, to watch you? That would have been so special.
So there was lots of people, and that was almost half the stress there, was organising tickets for everyone, let alone trying to play the games.
How many tickets did you have to get allocated? Was it like a set number or?
Yeah, so when it's your debut game, you can usually get like pretty much nearly as much as you want, to be honest. Like, well, not really as much as you want, but there's probably not really that much of a limit, especially it was against Gold Coast, so there was plenty of seats available, so we could organise a lot there. So that was really cool. And then also being able to bring some of the guys and family down into the rooms afterwards was really cool.
Damn. So obviously, did you play one or two games back to back, and then you got dropped? Was it?
So I played my first game, and then Switter obviously came back, so that kicked me out. I think went back for maybe 2 weeks in the Waffle, and then came back, played that game in a retro jersey against Richmond, and then against Brisbane, and we just got absolutely smoked, probably like 70 points. And then back out of the team after that, and then I reckon 1 or 2 weeks later was our last game that we actually had to win to try to give our shot at making the 8 against Saints. And I was a sub in that one. So started as a sub and came on at halftime.
What was like the message to you that when you got dropped, what was the main thing? Was it just like, an older person's back in? Like, I understand, but like you've got caliber, but also we can't really leave Switter out, obviously. Was it just that the main thing?
It was a lot like that. I mean, yeah. There was I think it was that Brisbane game. I didn't play a great game as well. And then, it was just more like people were coming back, didn't play a great game. It just was kind of stars aligned there. But no, I think it was that was probably the main messaging there. It's just like, like it was my first year as well. Like I can't really take getting dropped, like super harsh considering, I'm still young and stuff like that. And there were older players that were probably more experienced and more equipped than me. So
obviously going on to the next year, obviously you weren't offered a contract for the following year. You didn't play a senior game in 2022. How did you mentally go into every week playing for Peel and not being picked for the senior side?
So that was a hard thing. Is I actually had a really good preseason. I was playing really well in our scratch matches, and I played I don't know if they're called Amy games or whatever they were then, but the preseason games. Played those. Played pretty well in those as well. Didn't get a gig first round, which was that was fair enough. We had a strong side. That's just what was going to happen. Had a lot of small forwards. And then basically round 1 of the Waffle tore my hammy pretty bad. In a good game as well. I was playing round 1. It's always when it happens when you get injured is when you're playing a good game. And then that was out for 12 weeks.
Jeez.
So it was just avoided surgery, but right on the cusp. So avoided surgery, which is good, and then came back. Actually kicked 4 goals in my first game back against East Perth in the Waffle. And then basically after that, man, I couldn't really find a bit of form. Probably with about there was probably only 4 games left of the Waffle season, really, because there wasn't many by the time I missed all that season. And then, couldn't really find that consistency again after coming back from that injury, and was kind of looking forward to a big preseason again to try and get my body right. And then, after that, just fortunately got delisted, and then that just made it pretty tough,
Did you like kind of know that, they weren't going to offer you a contract going into the end of 2022? Like, did you have a feeling, or was it like talk around the club at all?
It's funny because there's no real talk about it. Like, everyone knows who's out of contract and everyone knows, who's signed and who hasn't. There's always whispers, and I obviously hadn't heard anything leading up to it. So I was still pretty optimistic, though. I thought that maybe potentially in my exit interview, it might have been like hey, like we're just going to see how we go in a trade period, then we'll see what we do after that, or even a delisting, then a re-rookieing, which you see happen sometimes. But to be honest, it caught me a bit by surprise. Caught my manager a bit by surprise as well. It was something a bit pretty tough, to be honest.
Obviously afterwards, was there like any other, contact between other clubs at all, or was it like that's like it?
Yeah, so there was there was a fair bit of contact there with the Eagles. So as soon as I came out, the Eagles were pretty interested. I actually had a meeting with him and a meeting with the recruiter, and then a phone call with Adam Simpson, who was a coach at the time, which was really close. And they were basically just weighing up their options and stuff. And they said if they have a pick left at the end of the draft, then they potentially look to pick me up. That's pretty much all I really heard. So I was just kind of taking it with a grain of salt. I just really didn't know, to be honest, and wasn't holding my breath at all as well. And then, and I didn't even watch the draft, but that draft obviously went over and then, didn't get picked up.
Did the Eagles pass on that or they pick someone up?
No, they picked Ned Long up actually. Yeah. So, I think he was that pick that potentially could have been me or could have been, vice versa.
So, when did you actually realize that, your AFL dream was, continuing was unlikely? Was it just straight afterwards or did you try to go back to that system?
I went back to Claremont that year. I was playing some pretty good footy at the start of the year, made that the Waffle State squad, which would go on to take Adelaide, but I didn't actually play in the game, but made the squad. So still playing some pretty good footy, but to be honest, I was really burnt out, to be honest, after that, because playing a couple games in your first year, looking really good to pre-season, big injury, coming back, not finding form, and then, straight out of the system was pretty tough. So I was really burnt out because it was really tough time being able to, I guess, during the injury, I was almost, and that was during COVID. I remember I actually got COVID while I was injured as well.
Jeez.
It wasn't great. And then, I remember it was just really, it was really burning me out because especially when when you're out of contract, you'll be doing everything to try your best. Like I remember there was a fair few times there where I was first at the club, or like if it wasn't first, it was, one of the first 5 people at the club, leaving last, just trying to do everything I could to get better. And then when you don't see the results come through, or you don't see, yourself get rewarded with another contract, it just burns you out completely. So that was pretty tough. And then at the moment, man, I'm just kind of playing at Claremont, just trying to have fun, trying to win a premiership as well, because that's the main goal. And then feel like if I'm just trying to have fun, trying to, put my best foot forward by, trying to help the team out and win, then I'm just giving myself the best chance to try to get drafted.
It's probably the best way to go about things, mate. Honestly, like you mentioned, like a lot of burnout, especially like you mentioned, you're trying so hard and things aren't really going your way. Sometimes just trying to find the love for the game is the best way to go about it. So it's good.
Do you feel like when you got delisted, you kind of fell out of love with football? Because obviously you were so burnt out. Do you reckon you fell out of love?
Yeah, definitely. Like 100%. Especially because that was what I loved for so long. That's what was so hard because I loved playing footy for so long, and then that's all I was known as was a footy player, really. Like everyone was my peers growing up, people at school, teachers, everyone around me, and my family especially, just knew me as a footy player. And then when that identity gets stripped away from you, that you're not a footy player anymore, you just it's pretty tough, to be honest.
Did you feel a bit lost like afterwards? Because obviously there's so much stuff about mental health now going outside of footy and outside that system. Do you feel like it kind of impacted you a little bit and you felt a little bit lost?
Yeah, I felt a little bit lost, but like I was saying, with how tough it was and how brutal the whole industry was, you almost felt relief as well. Like when you know the answer, when you're trying to get the contract for so long, the last like 6 months of the year, and then when you finally know the answer, it's like almost like a weight off your shoulders. Like obviously, much prefer to have a contract than not have one, but when you actually get the answer, you're like, yeah, okay, all right, I know now. At least, that makes it a lot more ideal.
Are you still like linked to anyone at Freo, like players, management, or coaches? Because when we did speak to Aiden, he kind of said that once you're out of the system, you're out of the system, and he feels like he kind of got left behind. It kind of stepped line. But is that kind of with you? Does that happen with you, or like are you still really close with a lot of the boys?
I get what he means in terms of that left behind, because really AFL's got their own little world, to be honest. They've all got their own little bubble that you live in. And also Freo being down there in Freo and myself living up here up north, does make it a lot harder to keep up with some of the lads, and our schedule's not entirely lining up. So yeah, I guess you do feel a little bit left behind, but I was lucky enough to make some really good friends. So I'm still able to catch up with them when I can, and still able to hang out with them when I can. And I always still talk to them over social media all the time. And it's funny because some of my closer mates, so the guys I used to play PlayStation with and play, and just hang out with at the club, actually all kind of left the same year as I did. Well, they didn't obviously get delisted, but they got traded and stuff like that. So that's like Rory Lobb and Griff Logue and Blake Akers and stuff like that, all kind of left at the same time. So there was a bit of that was just like, oh, okay, maybe I don't feel as bad because they're not there anymore. But yeah, I think I'm still definitely really close with everyone. Like we've got Caleb Strong's wedding at the end of the year in Geelong, so it's still going to be so good to be able to go over there and still hang out with the boys. And even though I'm not part of the club anymore, it's still got lifelong friendships. So yeah,
that's great to hear. You keep those relationships after footy. Wanted to ask you, I really hope I've got my research right here, but you are related to Michaela Weston, correct? Okay, so
it's a sister.
Obviously, Michaela's playing AFLW for the Eagles, and they're doing really well at the moment. They might be playing finals, and Michaela's playing some really good footy as well. What has that been like, being able to see, your sister play really well at the top level? And have you kind of been there to help her with, any training or giving her advice?
Yeah, so she actually only started, I reckon, when I got drafted. So probably 5 years ago, I reckon she only started playing footy.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she made a real quick jump, but she was always really good at sport. So she loved athletics, she loved basketball, she loved netball. She was really good at all of it. Then went away, just kind of did study, did her own traveling and everything, and then just decided one day to play footy, and Dad wasn't having it at all. He didn't want his precious little daughter going to, playing a rough game and stuff like that. I actually really wasn't wanting it at all. And then she went and had a crack, played so well in her first year at Claremont in the women's program, and basically straight after that, she played one game at Freo, whether she needed her as a COVID top-up player. And then straight after that, drafted to the Eagles, which she at first was a bit sceptical about because Eagles weren't our fan favourite at home because obviously Geelong supporters and
yeah, geez.
Yeah.
Not great.
So yeah, that's funny. But yeah, it was pretty cool, to be honest, being able to help her out along the way when she didn't know anything, trying to help her kick for the first time and learn everything. And then it's funny, when she was coming back from first year at the Eagles, she would using all this AFL terminology. I'm like, what? Who am I talking to? How do you know all of this now? It's ridiculous. But now I think the standard of the women's footy and that has really lifted up, and it's actually really good to watch, to be honest. So,
well, I think that's what a lot of people fail to kind of understand is, you mentioned that Michaela only started playing, she had to really learn the game really quickly. And you think about it, obviously you grew up playing footy. If you're someone new to the sport and you're trying to learn it for the first time, it would be very complicated. Seeing that the level in the AFLW is improving, it makes sense because now the girls that are coming through have been playing for a while. So it is really good to see. I just wanted to ask a little bit about some future goals that you have. So are there any plans that you have to try get back to the AFL? Obviously, you mentioned that you're really trying to enjoy footy, which is great. But is there any plans in that AFL avenue?
Yeah, so like I touched on before, just really trying to enjoy footy, and I feel like if I'm enjoying footy, I'm probably playing good footy. So just keep playing good footy, and I'm going to obviously keep training hard and keep trying to play my best footy at Claremont. And then if that results in me getting picked up again, then sweet. But yeah, I don't think it's a be all and end all, but I'm obviously still trying really hard and playing hard and stuff like that at Claremont. So yeah, if I'm playing good footy down there, then there's no reason I can't get picked back up and things like that. So yeah.
And how about outside of footy, anything in the workforce, any studies, anything you're working towards?
Yeah, so got really lucky. That's one of the bonuses of being in the AFL program is that many connections and things like that. You can pretty much get what you want when you're leaving. So I was really lucky to Dale Alcock was the president of Freo at the time, and I'm not sure if you guys know, but he owns a big building company just over here in Leederville, actually. It's probably one of the biggest builders in Australia and let alone WA definitely. So was really lucky enough to get a job in the building industry straight off the bat, pretty much 6 months, 5 months later. Was able to connect me all up there. So being able to get straight into a full-time job, which I've really been enjoying and making significant strides in was awesome. And especially having to avoid going to uni or having a trade background, which I was able to get a foot in the door, which was, I'm forever grateful for. So.
Yeah. And how about any future advice or any advice you would give to upcoming footy players, whether that's through the Colts program or even at a junior level that want to aspire to play AFL? What sort of advice would you give them?
I guess there's like no real sugarcoating it. Like it's a really tough industry, so you really got to work hard, especially when you're in the industry. Like you kind of get this when you're about 18 and you're just about to get drafted. You think like, wow, this is this is really hard work. I'm doing everything I can to get drafted, and then you think you got drafted. You're like, sweet, I've made it, and then you don't realize, but the next after that is the hardest part, is actually trying to carve out a role and stay in the team week in, week out and actually stay on the AFL list. That's actually a lot harder than actually getting drafted. So, that's probably my main advice to them, is just to don't stop working hard, especially when you get in there. You just got to take your opportunity.
Yeah, love it.
I do agree, mate. Anyway, that's us for today with the episode. Thank you again, Joel, for coming on. It was an amazing chat. Thanks again. And awesome.
Thank you, Joel. We really do appreciate it. We know obviously you're super busy with footy and work and everything. So Ryan and I really love interviewing footy players like yourself. So thank you for joining the podcast.
No, awesome. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Have a good one, everyone. You can find us on our socials and we will catch you in the next You're Kidding Me episode. Thank you.